Okay, here we go. This will be for Hume 115, Elements of Reasoning, page 78, letter G. As an example, I will be doing odd numbers 1, 3, and 5 to give you a start on what you need to do. So let's take a look at number 1. You see, there will be peace in the Middle East only if the Israelis and Palestinians conclude that peace is in their self-interest. They will reach this conclusion only if they sit down and talk to one another. So there will be peace in the Middle East only if the Israelis and Palestinians sit down and talk to one another. We're supposed to use P, T, and C. And the first part, or first step that we need is to identify the parts of the sentence, which proves certainly to be the most difficult at times. So let's start with the first sentence. Let's really think about what we're going to do here. There will be peace in the Middle East. The first thing that you might want to do is find your connectives, because remember, they don't change. So I know that only, I know here, there we go. I know only if this right here is my connective. So remember, anything before that is probably one part of my sentence. Not even probably, it is. So there will be peace in the Middle East, and I'm going to put a P, okay? Only if actually should go both directions, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to just put if then, if P, then, and it says that Israelis and Palestinians conclude that peace is in their self-interest. I'm going to make that C. Okay, conclusion, conclude, doesn't matter. I have changed the word conclusion with conclude, or conclude with conclusion, doesn't matter, same thing. Second sentence, they will reach this conclusion only if, here's my connective, let's mark that, if they sit down and talk to one another. So I'm going to mark this as my part of my sentence. That's C. If then, if C, then, and they sit down and talk to one another, T. Finally, our conclusion. So, which we know always, we know this is going to be conclusion. And we always know that it looks like a third grader wrote that, but conclusion. So there will be peace in the Middle East. I'm going to put my P there. Again, I have only if. I put my connective there. And I mark the Israelis and Palestinians sit down and talk to one another. Gosh, this looks pretty similar to what we have studied previously. So, and if I were a betting woman, which I am, I would have to go with hypothetical syllogism, a much safer wager than Minnesota in the postseason for sure. So there you have it, and that is number 1. Okay, so number 3, if we know what an artist was thinking in order to understand the work of art, then its meaning cannot be known. We have T and K. So again, we start from the first sentence. We start with what you can reasonably work with, and that would be the first thing. So first things first, if we break it into parts, it is much easier to see what's going on. Some of you don't want to break it into parts. That's fine. Don't. It's a free country, but better to break it into parts. So I'm going to say here, if we know what an artist was thinking in order to understand the work of art, I would have to put T here. And my T got stuck all the way over here, but I'll just mark it T. And then, so I have an if then, classic, so I just put this in. Then its meaning cannot be known. Notice I have cannot. That means not right here. And K, known. Okay, the second part would look like thus, conclusion. Conclusion. I know that, mark it. If the work cannot be known, and I can again mark my if the meaning of the work K. If then, we do not have to know what the artist was thinking in order to understand it. Again, I have my not and not T. If I were to consult my book and look on page 76, it sure looks a lot like number 3, contraposition, and that would be what I would go with. Okay. So finally, number 5, if you have no cash, then if your credit card has expired, you will have to sleep in the park. This one throws us off, but if you have no cash, conclusion, and your credit card has expired, you'll have to sleep in the park. So finally, we have one that will not test your knowledge if you break it down and you cheat and you look for its twin. So first sentence, if, break it down, you have no cash. No cash. So let's put no cash, no C. Then, because I see my then right here, then, oh, I have another if. I'm just going to put these in parentheses because it looks like I'm going to have an if then again. So if your credit card has expired, then you will have to sleep in the park. So I have expired, which goes here, and S, sleep. So let's work with the conclusion. If, again, you have no cash and right there, C and E, your credit card has expired, then, because I have my if here, then you will have to sleep in the park. So again, I simply cheat and I look in the book and I see that this is De Morgan's rule, but that's just me. You do what you feel works for you, and hopefully this will help you out and make things a lot easier for you.